Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for another live match reaction where we go over the weekend's match. This week it was a Palace after the international break, it's bloody winter break, what they call it. As you can see, I'm joined by Liam, who did survive Saturday's first outing after a month. How you doing, Liam?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. I only just about survived it. Mega hangover on Sunday. Yeah. I blew the candle both ends, didn't I? As per usual.
Making up for lost time.
Yeah, but obviously I turned back up and the goals turned back up as well, which was a good thing.
Yeah, so basically, if you didn't have the observation, we'll be top of the league still. It's basically
I don't like to say. I don't like to say it.
We know health comes first and all that, but yeah. Me and Gary, as I also me and Gary were doing the watch on. We was like, half time. Do we FaceTime Liam and make sure he's okay? Because we're 2-0 up. We know what you're like celebrating.
Yeah, I'm still a bit conscious on Saturday, so I had to kind of curb it a little bit. Yeah, definitely curb it.
Oh dear, fair enough. But as you say, you go back. We got the goals. We got the win. We kept the pressure on Liverpool. And obviously City as well, and put the pressure back on City as well because they've still got a game in hand over us, which is against Brentford, and Tony's back doing what Tony does best, apparently.
Yep.
But obviously, yeah, as I say, so we'll get your thoughts on it first. Obviously, you're at the game. What was the atmosphere like first off going in, the build up to it, and you said I sort of agree with it. The scoreline sort of flattered us in one sense because it wasn't like when you hit a 5-0, it's usually like the winning team, they've dominated from the get-go. They have merited the 5-0. It didn't feel like a 5-0 in the sense of the performance.
Yeah, like Jonesy was sitting next to me, and some of the lads obviously around us and all that. And that 3-0, I've got to be honest, I thought it was a pretty dry game, mate. I was bored at times. I'm going to be totally honest here. I don't think our performance warranted a 5-0. If I'm being brutally honest, and one of my Palace mates kind of hit on the forehead, and he said about the Valentine's massacre when we beat them 5-1, and he went that was an electric for 5-1 at the time. This was the totally opposite. But what I think we did was, I think we was efficient in terms of how we scored the goals. I think we brutally exposed Palace. I think they were absolutely dreadful defending set pieces, which obviously Gabriel kind of profited on. I know the second one went down as their own goal. And if I'm being really honest, I think the only part in the game that really got me on for my feet before the 90 minutes was obviously the third goal. And we haven't seen that kind of counter attack for a long, long time. And it was because obviously we was ahead and they had to commit players forward to try and get back into the game. Because we are basically we are attacking against a low block at all times. At all times, even on Saturday, we was having to attack against a proper low block. And my two concerns from that is, firstly, we haven't got the striker at times to stick it up there and get it to stick, and we're not prolific enough when we get the chances at times to obviously take our chances. But I don't know, and I only think, if I'm being totally honest with you, I think the two goals that were scored at the end had a massive adverse effect on their fans and supporters putting up their banners. And if you're a player and you see that banner go up,
yeah,
we've been there, mate. We've been there. We've seen it happen at our club. Once that banner went up, mate, I think their players' heads just dropped, and I don't know what they were thinking of in the last 2 minutes of the game. But to go that far high up and let Martinelli expose them like that, I just think that banner absolutely killed them.
It was twice in quick succession as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the one-off and then bang, that was it. It was like bang, bang.
Yeah, I think that was all down to that banner going up. I think that banner went up, then players see that, and I just think it just massively just killed them off. And I think we just profited from them last two goals because of that situation. It weren't a 5-0, but it was a 5-0. But in terms of that game, I'm not going to take too much out of it. I need to see us respond against Nottingham Forest away, which is going to be a hard game, and that's the game where I think this set of players will be judged.
Well, at least as well, we've got there's again ironically another break between now and that Forest game because of the FA Cup this weekend. So we're out of that. So we've got another 14 days to prepare for this. So the potential knocks to Gabriel and Declan shouldn't have an effect on us on that game. They should be hopefully touch wood, both be back in time for that. Touch wood and all that. Don't want to jinx anything, but still. But yeah, I mean, obviously another news, and not just to touch on that, actually, Mo Salah's agent, I don't know if you've seen this, but Mo Salah's agent has gone on Twitter, aka X tonight, and basically said the injury is far worse than they first feared, and he could be out for 21 to 28 days. The only way he makes back to AFCON is if he has severe rehab, coming back to the UK, Liverpool, and then travels back out again. Other than that, no matter what, he's definitely out of our game against Liverpool in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, obviously, I didn't expect Salah there unless obviously Egypt got knocked out anyway. Obviously, it's good news It's not obviously good news that a player gets injured. I don't ever really want to hearing a player get injured is good, but obviously, hopefully, we can profit from that at some sort. But I'm going to be brutally honest as well about Bournemouth yesterday. They were pathetic in that second half. And they were absolutely pathetic in that second half. And my worry is, that I think the league this year has got so many teams that will just bend over to Liverpool.
We'll just bend over to decent teams. We've seen it ourselves sometimes this season. Man City as well. I mean, Man City drop points, but there's a certain teams that just don't bother. The thing with Bournemouth was it was 0-0 at half time. That's the worst thing. It was 0-0. They were in the game. They were causing havoc. They were frustrating the life out of Liverpool. Then they just decided to, as you say, just bend over and go, you know what, we can't be asked today. You have to win. You have to goals. Get your goal difference up as well while you're at it.
I think they feared Liverpool just because of the name. I honestly do. Like, you look at that Liverpool team and you think, it's not like the Liverpool team of 2-3 years ago. Do you know what I mean? There was no Salah there. There's no kind of Mane now. I know, obviously, Jota scored a couple of goals. I know they've got some good attacking players and all that. But there was no Trent. Do you know what I mean? Like, this ain't a team that they had 2-3 years ago. And I actually thought that Bournemouth could give them a good game yesterday. But that second half was absolutely pathetic. And when you're like the home team, you expect better. But then again, do I expect better? Because I watched us go to them and we bent them over 4-0. So they've got it in their locker. Bournemouth, but I think where we've got to rely on now is obviously us doing our own business against them. And even if it means they don't beat Chelsea, even if it means they beat Chelsea at Anfield in a couple of weeks before the Arsenal game, as long as we beat them, we knock them back down to 2 points. 2 points. And then obviously that's when we start putting the pressure on them. But we've got to do our own job first. We've got to go to Nottingham Forest, a night game that's going to be really tough. Their fans are going to be up for it. And this has got banana skin written all over it. And I don't want to be negative whatsoever because I think we can go there and do the job. But we've got to show better than what we probably have done in the last month. But what I think Saturday done was give a lot of confidence back in terms of the team. I think Martinelli, I called it a few weeks ago that keep him on the bench and let him come on in games and get his confidence back that way. And it's been pretty much proven yesterday because no one wants to face a Martinelli with 20, 25 minutes to go, that burning pace. And you see Palace, they once he got behind them, game over. So we've got to go and do the job. And I'm just very much still, even after Saturday, very much that we're playing too slow football at the moment. Just passing the base sideways, passing the ball back. We need to get back to our game. We need to get back to our game last year, where we was very direct, very pacey, hitting teams on the counter attack. I know teams are setting up differently against us, but we need to find a different alternative to our games because I still think we're pretty slow in the way we play at times.
Yeah, and just before we move on, seems yours right.
Here he is.
They are
Wilfie Carp himself. He's on. I've left him alone this weekend. He's all right, old Terry. I have actually left him alone this weekend. Up the Arsenal boy.
No, fair play to him. Obviously, teams got battered. There's turmoil. There's ownership issue with the fan base and all that. The banners you mentioned already. He still turned up. Fair play to him.
From a Palace perspective, they've got to make the right decision by the manager, haven't they? They sacked Patrick Vieira last year because he was on a bad run. Roy Hodgson's in a no different situation this year to where they were last year, and my concern is for them is, and I'll be honest with you, my concern is for Roy Hodgson himself. This guy is 76 years old.
Yeah.
Like, does Steve Parish need to make the right decision now in terms of the guy's health? Because that ain't good for him. It's not nice to see. It weren't nice to see Saturday. We've been there with Arsene Wenger and seen it ourselves. Yeah. And sometimes you just have to make the right decisions to put the guy out of his misery, really. And my perspective is I think they should probably look to get someone in until the end of the season, my personal opinion.
You say that, I don't know if you know or knew at the time, but Graham Potter was in the boxes at Arsenal taking notes.
Someone said to me, though, that there was no link with that. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but they said that pretty much Graham Potter is still going around stadiums, watching games and all that, keeping in touch.
Bit of a coincidence, though.
Well, if I was Crystal Palace, if they could get Graham Potter in all day long, you would put Roy out of his misery, wouldn't you, and get him in as soon as possible. But I don't see why they're having him at the stadium. Won't make a decision straight away. Like, it was horrible. This guy has got a career that spans back 40 odd years. We're not talking about a manager that's like literally only been in the game like 5-10 years, or not, if that. We're talking about a guy who's been in the game 40 odd years, put his own time and effort into obviously the game as it is, and to see a guy being hung out to dry like this is not a nice look, and I just don't think it's good for him or the club.
Someone's called Kermit. Someone from my side of things, but looks at new to the channel. Might be a Palace fan or a rival fan. I never know.
It might just be Kermit himself.
Oh, dear. But no, for me, and again, people know my thoughts on how Vieira was dealt with. Again, the call it bias because of the Arsenal legend that he is for us. But when Roy came in and kept him up and all that, I think that he should have just gone out at that high, and the club then should have had that summer and gone out and got someone else, younger, like Vieira, younger, hungrier. It hasn't got potential health. Because there's a reason. There's got to be a reason why Roy retired in the first place a couple of years back. I know he keeps coming back to the love of the game because he came back to Watford and. It didn't work there, but with Palace it worked, and I know he's got that connection with the club and all that, local lad. But he should have just bailed, came back, done the glory run of keeping them up and all that, and go out that high. Because there's always a risk, obviously, of this. Whereas, because they are. Well, Gary's asking me on Saturday, do you think 21 points or just a couple points more will be enough to stay up now? Because you mentioned that they're coming bottom three, and then you add into the equation of the potential Forest and Everton situation with the potential point deduction. So I'm sitting there thinking, I still don't think that's enough. I still think, because we've seen Everton the first time round early on the season, they fought back. Us against the world mentality. They fought back. They got the points. The points deduction. They'll be mid-table. Depending on what happens at Forest, we've seen them since that news broke put up a fight basically, and not going to go back to back results, but they're putting in performances now. It's us against the world mentality. So Luton, they haven't come up here to make up the numbers like most of us probably thought. The only ones that are sort of guaranteed to go, but it looks like it's Burnley and Sheffield United. There's that one spot up for grab. And if Palace ain't careful, they could quite easily go very, very soon.
We see it with Leicester.
You don't want that to be Roy Hodgson's legacy from last season be tainted by what could happen this season. The longer he stays on, plus as you mentioned, his health and all that.
we see it last year with Leicester, didn't we? Like there was that one team that obviously were lingering around it, that were probably sitting 4 or 5 points ahead at one point. I just think, mate, I think they kept Roy Hodgson in the job because they know they haven't got much resource at the moment. There's obviously issues in terms of obviously what's going on in the background in terms of the ownership at present and all that. And I think they looked at it and thought, do you know what? We can't find someone who we actually really want at this present moment of time. Roy Hodgson's a shoe-in to kind of keep us up. And I still think at this present moment of time, they won't go down. Now, I don't think they'll go down because I think once they get players like Elise back, they've been really unlucky with Decore as well. Like, he's a fantastic centre midfielder and that's kind of blown them hard, but they need to go out and do some business in January to get the kind of required players in. But the problem is they lose Elise and he's been injured already. If he gets injured again, then that makes it really hard for him. That makes it really tough for him. But I don't know. Like they can be dragged into a relegation dogfight, but I guess they're going to have to win all their home games, and they haven't even been doing that at the moment, and that's the problem. But my personal opinion is, like, after talking to like my mates after the game, I think the general perception is now that they need to make a change. They need to make a change sooner rather than later. And I guess we see it last year, didn't we, with clubs? They were sacking their managers in April. That's far too late. Leeds, was it Leeds, for example, last year?
Leeds, lastminute.com.
It's too late. It's too late to do it then. If you're going to do it in the January window. Do it in the January window or do it early on. So you're giving yourself at least, you're giving that new manager 10 to 15 games. Doing it with 5 games left, it doesn't work anymore. That style of obviously I'm going to sack a manager and try and get an impact for 5 games. It doesn't work in the Premier League. The clubs are too good. You look at the divide now between the top and the bottom of the table. I'd say you look at the top 10 to 12, and then you've got 8 that you sit there and think, do you know what? Any other season, any of them could be in a relegation dogfight and go down. I think teams are pretty much lucky this year that Sheffield United and Burnley are that poor.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. That's why I say I think there's only, as it stands, one spot that is up for grabs in terms of being dragged in to go down. There's 2 guarantees, and that's, as you mentioned, Sheffield United, Burnley. They're just out of the teams we just mentioned. They're not showing any fight, anything really. I mean, Sheffield United got so lucky yesterday; it's unbelievable. How they got the penalty? I know we're going off topic here because of whatever. Yeah. But how they got their penalty to equalise and then literally a minute later didn't give away a penalty themselves is beyond me. And this Dermot Gallagher fucking Sky Sports ref watch. It's all about perspective. It's all every week perspective. Cough. Just admit your mate fucked up and move on.
I think
responsibility.
I think we know, don't we? In terms of Dermot Gallagher. He's on the bottom of the barrel. He's bottom of the barrel, that guy. Like, he will literally back the referee decision every single time.
Remember, there was a game years ago, back in 05-06, our final year at Highbury. We played Newcastle away. We lost the game, but it was Gilberto? I think it was Gilberto got sent off. I think, but it wasn't in a red card offence. I think it's a double. Was it straight red? I can't remember now. It was straight red or double booking. But either way, it was so obvious. Even she was going up to him saying, no, it's not a foul. Nobby Solano as well just came back. No. And he's like, no, fuck off. And he's so serious. He's just, he's, as you say, he just scrapes the barrel and. But it's just the whole narrative every week, and you ask me a question. Well, it's all about perspective, isn't it? Then why the fuck are you on here then getting paid a king's ransom for your opinion? You're not even give it.
Yeah, he's just.
Another one that's been baiting Arsenal fans since is on X is our favourite friend Gary Neville. Who is this affair, Arsenal fans? And then literally because of Forest and West Ham have written to PGMO for reasons to be beyond their certain things, like the Chinese goal for Forest against Forest, and West Ham situation yesterday. Oh, Liverpool and Arsenal started this nonsense. They're bang out of order. Okay, Gary, we'll just sit here. We'll just sit here. Everyone, fan club, you name it. We'll just all sit. We all accept. We said to accept the mediocrity, BS officiating in this country. And by the way, these are full-time professionals, but we should accept it, should we? Just because you don't want to lose your best friend contacts with Howard Webb and find out what coffee machine they got this year.
Do you want me to sum? I'm going to sum Gary Neville up in a nutshell. Yeah, right.
Please do.
This sums the geezer up in a nutshell and just tells you he talks absolute shite on so many levels. So after the Fulham defeat, he come out and said that he's still backing Arsenal to win the title. Spurs draw against Manchester United. Now, Arsenal haven't played a game since then in the Premier League. Arsenal have not played a Premier League game since then in the Premier League. Spurs go away to Man United, get a draw, and he's talking about that Spurs are going to finish above Arsenal and Liverpool.
A week later, yes, I know. Yeah,
a week later. Well, wait a minute, mate. In one sense, you're saying you're still backing us to finish top, but now you're sitting there going, they're going to finish above Liverpool and Arsenal. So really, you think Man City are going to win the league? Because you don't. Yeah, deep down. So do you know what I mean? The geezer just talks absolute tosh on so many levels, and you just sit there and just think, mate, you just. I think he's literally out there now just to try and wind people up. Honestly think he's just out there to try. I don't think he believes half he says. He can't do. He can't believe at least half he says. Now, I'd respect him if he said, like, I think Spurs are going to finish above Arsenal. If he hasn't backed Arsenal a week earlier to win the league.
Which he's been doing since day one this season.
Since doing day one. We haven't played a game since Fulham. And he just totally changes the whole concept. We're going to finish fourth now. Man City are going to win the league.
A 2-2 draw between Tottenham and Man United. Not even the team he's backing in terms of winning the title, apparently. A 2-2 draw. Suddenly Tottenham going to finish above Arsenal.
What?
Yeah, cool.
What we forget about Tottenham is like Tottenham having a good season. I can't sit there and say they're not having a good season. But Tottenham, and we've been, and before I go into any further, this is something that we've been crippled with at the time, and the same thing with Tottenham. Tottenham were 2-2 against us. We lost Declan Rice. They were too scared to go out for the kill in that last 20 minutes. They should have gone out in the kill for us that last 20 minutes. Yeah. And I honestly believe they did go out in that kill. I think that would have been a bad day for us. They did the same thing at Manchester United, really. They're stuck in between the stone steel Spurs where they don't know whether they can go in for the kill or not. And for that alone, I think they'll finish top four. I said from the get-go, I think they'll finish top four. But I don't see them like probably competing for the. If I'm being totally honest, at the moment, I think it's probably out Man City and Liverpool. I still think Man City are too good. I think Man City are too good at the end. I think Liverpool's depth may bite them in the backside near the end of the season, especially if Salah remains injured. But yeah, I don't agree with him that I think he thinks that Man City, that Liverpool are going to finish above the likes of Liverpool. Sorry, yeah, Tottenham are going to finish above the likes of Liverpool. It ain't going to happen.
No, top three for me will be between us, City, and Liverpool. I think that'll be the top three, and then obviously full spot will be whatever. But I think the top three, and it will be very close between the top three as well for the title, I think. But this is the thing. Just to go back into the game, this is the thing with me. I mean, we see it last season. It was only us going for the title with them. We've seen it the year before that. It was only Liverpool, and still Man City were finding a way because there's no one else bothered to even challenge them or put up a fight in certain games. This league, to stop Man City and this dominance they're showing, that keep winning the league year in, year out. We need multiple teams to be competing for this title. Not just one, clearly, because one they've shown time and time again. Apart from the 1 year Liverpool won it, a few years back. Sorry, Man City love it. They're like, okay, that's one. We've got one challenge. We can do that. Like last year, they knew they could get over us because they've been there before at Liverpool. So it's like the experience of being there just against one team was like, okay, cool. If we can throw a second or a third team in that this season, you never know. It could be the breaking of them in terms of making it 4 in a row. And maybe hopefully us, obviously, would win it. But we've got to sort things out in our transfer window as well. In the meantime, we've got just over a week left before that closes.
Do you honestly think we're going to do anything in the transfer window?
Too quiet, but everyone's been too quiet. This is the thing. This whole FFP situation that started back in last summer with Everton and all that, rocked a lot of it. Pretty much rocked everyone in the league because no one's really going out there. Man
No.
City, even Newcastle, Chelsea, even Chelsea are quiet to the standard we've come accustomed to under this new ownership. They're not. No one's going out there. Even Liverpool, not going out there and adding any depth to their squad. Even the teams that need to add in terms of survival as well, not doing it. It's a weird one. I think we obviously we know we do. We've been offered Benzema. I don't know how that's going to end or whatever, but we do need a striker. We do need cover in the defensive side of things as well. We don't know in terms of Japan how long they're going to be in the Asia Cup. So because of missing Tomiyasu there, but also he needs, if he's not going to play Smith Rowe or Reece Nelson and gives in terms of on the right hand side and give Saka a game or two off on the bench and just bring him on whenever. You need to go and get a right winger then, as well. Even if it's loans, just do some business because we do need it ourselves just to get us over this side of one of them. To get one of them 2 trophies come May.
Controversially, I thought Saka had a really quiet game again on Saturday, but I don't think that's all down to his fault, mate. I think that's our slow progression in midfield at times. And I was sitting there sometimes in the game, right? And don't get me wrong, it was comfortable and I knew we'd won the game and all that. But, we've been used to, midfields in the past, being able to, do you know what I mean, whack the tempo up if and when we want. And I don't expect it for 90 minutes. But I just don't feel like the guys like Saka and Martinelli are getting the ball quick enough at the moment. No. And there are opportunities. Sometimes you don't see it on TV because you don't see so much on TV at times. And I realise that being back at the game, but it was so many times here, right, when we had the option on to get the ball out to the wing and actually let our wingers, whether it was Jesus, Saka, Trossard, to go one-on-one, and we just didn't do the pass quick enough. The ball was not quick enough.
No,
we just don't seem to release it quick enough.
No, again, it does. It's not helping when obviously I know Declan's been the linchpin in our midfield. He's been the one constant in that midfield all season. Let's be brutally honest there. For a big money signing and all that coming from, with all due respect, West Ham coming to Arsenal and a new culture, new way of playing. He hasn't been playing alongside what would have been his midfield partner in Partey because Partey's been injured most of the season, not all season near enough. Feels like anyway. Jorginho can't do that run. He needs to be rotated out, and then he's just come back, but he's gone off to AFCON. And he got someone like, with all due respect to Kai Havertz, he's got when we haven't got a Jorginho that needs a vest or El Neni who's been injured, and Partey just been Partey this season. He gets put with Kai Havertz, and we've seen with Kai, it just. That midfield doesn't click when you've got Kai there. Kai, we've mentioned it time and time again, he's best suited up top in the false 9 position, drawing in the defenders. And
I was a little bit frustrated. I was a bit frustrated when I see the team news. Right, I thought you've finally done what I've kind of been asking: play Saka one wing, try Jesus on the left, leave Martinelli on the bench. Come on. But play Havertz up there. Yeah. Why do we play Havertz up there against the likes of Man City and Liverpool, the 2 hardest teams in the league, but we won't give him an opportunity against Crystal Palace that are obviously in a bad place at the moment? Surely it's the best time to play him. And don't get me wrong, Trossard scored a good goal. I didn't think Trossard done much in the game either. Yet again, I thought he was really quiet in the first half, and I felt that nearly every time he started. But sometimes it's critical. Don't get me wrong. I've been critical of kind of couple of strikers this year, but it ain't all down to them. It's not all down to them. It's down to how slow we're playing at times, and it's very easy for the opposition to get back in their numbers, get back into a low block, and make it really, really hard for us. And that's where set pieces helped us Saturday.
Yeah,
and that's where
the first 2 goals. Yeah.
And let's talk about Declan Rice taking the corner. Thankfully, at last, we've decided to change the corner kick takers.
Yeah. It's too predictable, otherwise. If it's the same people taking it, it's just too predictable to defend against as well.
But we've had 8, 10, 12 corners in games. Everyone's saying, we score lots of best set pieces. To be fair, we have scored quite a lot of corners, but most of them corners seem to be coming late in games. We've had about 15 corners by that point that literally nothing's happened from. And we're not even beating the first man. You're sitting, you're scratching your head. Now, Declan Rice, first corner, whacks it in, bang. And I was just glad that we tried something a little bit different for once.
No, exactly. And I mean, it was getting. I've seen that video. Obviously, I think you posted it up. You quote tweeted it and all that. Like it was getting dogs reviews. West Ham reject. Bang, boom. Fuck you. Go away. 1-0.
Why would you put it up though? Why after you did that video? Why would you then put it up?
Oh, no, it's comical. It's comical. But
he's obviously sent it to someone, and he sent it to someone, and someone sent it to someone else.
Yeah,
and it's got out that way.
Yeah, it's like, oh damn it! I told you not to share it. Tough. You need to be exposed for your fraudulent behaviour there. You can't give it. You can't give it out and then fucking. I want it to be kept quiet and all that malarkey. Oh dear. BX has been BX in the chat.
I would like to see Havertz given another chance up there, just because I think he's definitely.
We've watched him play live. I've been at the games live when you've been there as well. At Wembley, we mentioned it from the get-go there. I've gone to a couple of games I've been at the Emirates as well. He's best suited up top in terms of this, how we want to play, how our top wants us team to play. Havertz is best suited to the system then up top then. And when you've got a full due respect, I know I was so happy that Smith Rowe, and I did mention this in the stream with Gary, that when Smith Rowe came on for the second time this season, by the way, this has happened. Smith Rowe has come on, and the cheer from the crowd is louder than we've scored a goal. Nothing twice now. Arteta needs to heed this and learn take lessons basically, because fans are making it very vocal now. Twice. We want to see some more Smith Rowe. Enough's enough. Stop messing him about. Give him more minutes. And thankfully, he got the 25, 30 minutes he got on Saturday. He did it. I think he did it. Again, he got the bloody She Knows Football. Just can't remember the fucking surname now. Slagging off. Well, not completely slagging off, but still to the extent like downplaying the role that Smith Rowe played for these 25-minute cameo. It was like, we didn't do that much. So it was like, no, he came on. He did what he's asked. He did nice, clean touches, got involved, made runs into the box, and a more match fit Smith Rowe could have even scored it on Saturday as well. It's just about giving him more match time and not just 5 minutes here and there.
Yeah,
I mean, you were there. Like when Smith Rowe comes on for a lot of time compared to what he's used to. What was your reaction?
Yeah, I want to see him start. Like I was quite open. I wanted to see him start at Liverpool. I wanted him to play left centre mid at Liverpool. I wanted to see Havertz up top. I wanted to see Jesus on the left. I want to see Saka on the right. I want to see Rice and Odegaard in that midfield. That's what I want. But we're not getting it now. I was sitting there Saturday when he come on, and he had a tidy performance yet again, right? But what you don't know is sometimes when you're not at the game yet again is the runs he makes in that box. And I think if you watch Bournemouth at Bournemouth this season, right, when he come on, right, he could have scored 2 or 3 in that game. Yeah. Because what he does is, right, he's very good at timing his runs into that box. And sooner or later, right, he's going to be found. He was unlucky on Saturday on a couple of occasions that he didn't get found by balls, which was basically last-ditch defending. But he's got everything in his locker. I think Arteta's too scared to play him there because I think he feels that potentially we're going to be too open. I don't personally agree with it. I think sometimes you got to take risks. You got to take a few risks, and I think at the moment with Arteta, I think he's got himself in a bit of a pickle and a bit of a situation that he's too scared at the moment to take any risks in that centre midfield.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. I don't know whether he thinks Havertz is the long-term option at left centre mid. I think Havertz does a really dirty job in there, mate. I do actually think he does a dirty job in there. I think he does offer the team quite a lot in terms of what he does, but at the moment he's not scoring the goals or getting himself into the opportunities that Xhaka did in that role last year. But I really love Emil Smith Rowe, and I want to see him get the opportunity. Whether he'll get the opportunity, I'm not brought that he will get the opportunity, and I've got this feeling that we may lose him at the end of the season. if he doesn't get the playing time that he requires between now and the end of the season, he has to leave for his own career. He has to. He's 23 years old, mate. He's worthy of playing in a team in the Premier League. He's worthy of playing in the team, but he's got to keep himself fit as well. So it doesn't all swing one way. He has to keep himself fit. But I've always thought that there was this vision that we'd like to have Smith Rowe and Odegaard in the same team. Not sure that Arteta sees it like that.
Well, I think it needs to wake up. As I say, this is twice now this season. I think first one was in the Champions League, and it was coming back and all that. This is now the second. I say the second time. The crowd has made the fans have made their voice perfectly clear in the Smith Rowe situation. They want to see more of him, show him more respect. He's proved, apart from the little setback he had briefly, it was a brief one. It's a 7-10 days setback. He was back in training no time and all that. Apart from that, he's proven his fitness. Give him more minutes. I mean, what's he got to do to run through brick walls? It's man. And as I was going to say, you could have put Jesus out on the right, Havertz up top on Saturday against Palace, and then put someone like Smith Rowe, start him alongside Declan and Odegaard, and Smith Rowe, honestly, as we were saying, would have been making them runs that Xhaka did last year, back and forth, and then Declan do his own thing. Because I mean, when we don't play Jorginho and Declan in the pivot, and it's just Declan, it's too much work upon him, and especially in the big games. He gets run into the ground, and it then affects him the next game because he's still having to recover from what he did a few days prior. But the Arsenal Mystery mentioned something before the stream started in the chat, basically about the goals and all. But a bench cam went up on the Arsenal website, and basically Arteta's impressions for most of the goals wasn't his usual ecstatic self, so we say. He celebrated, but it wasn't like jumping for joy, like giving it the big one and all that. Apart from one goal that involved a certain David Raya. And the only person
he's got to take credit for that, Raya. He's got to take credit for that one, though.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying that literally, it's like he's trying to prove a point. He celebrated to the extent with the others, but he really celebrated and proved a point by going, literally pointing towards David and saying, "Well done, da 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 da." It's like he's trying to prove a point to the naysayers, basically. Whereas it's not going to help things, by the way, in terms of you're trying to build this family. We're all one. Well, there's one big happy family, basically. But you're individually picking out a situation, positive as it was. But then when you're on camera, you're on camera because of how it's all is nowadays at Arsenal. But you're celebrating the other goals, but not to the same level as you were for that. For the third goal, wasn't it? To make it 3-0, yeah. Trossard's goal. But Go didn't like it because I didn't want to say the name, but I gave him his due. He did his job. I said it in the stream. He did his job. What he's been brought in to do was to get the ball, get it out fast.
Yeah. Amazingly,
we got the ball out fast, attacked at pace and intent, and scored the fucking goal. What we've been saying all season. But again, in the stadium in that moment, as that unfolded, and what was going through your head, literally, as it was all unfolding?
I forgot about us scoring a goal like that, if I'm being totally honest. It was brilliant to see us score a goal like that again. This is what I'm saying. Like this kind of way that we scored that goal on Saturday was, firstly, like you said, Ray had done his job first and foremost, which is a good thing. He released that ball quickly. They're exposed, and we killed him. We literally killed him. This is what our players can do. But the problem we've got is, right, like that was at 2-0 up, and we've got ourselves to a point where they had to come out at us. Now, when you don't take your chances and don't go 2-0 up, we struggle because teams don't come out at us. And we've struggled all season at times. Right? Let's not beat around the bush. We've created so many chances this year. Now, we've created so many chances, but what have they really, really, really been clear-cut chances? And I can guarantee you they're not clear-cut chances. And we seem to get done on the counter-attack ourselves because we commit so many people forward because we're trying to get that goal and we're getting frustrated and then we get hit on the counter attack. And rest assured, something happens and they score a goal. And I just think, like, if you go 2-0 up against teams, they've got to come out at you. They've got to do something different in the second half, and it shows you what we are capable of doing when we're able to play like that. But I think Arteta at the start of the season, and I think we see this in his selection in the first few games, I don't think he thought at this point in the season he'd be playing the style he has. I think that he wanted Thomas Partey to play right back. I don't think he had any ambition really of playing him centre midfield. I think that he wanted him to come into that midfield. He wanted Havertz to push forward into get into a more of attacking midfield role. So when teams obviously put a low block, we'll just literally put our whole team on the halfway line. And he probably thought at the time he'd have Timber at the back, Saliba at the back. Do you know what I mean? Two players with absolute decent pace, would absolutely clear most things up. And I think he wanted to play a totally different way to what he's playing at the moment. And I think that because Thomas Partey got injured, and I think because Timber got injured, it's totally thrown his plans into kind of... It's basically scrapped all his plans, and he's just had to conjure up another way for us to play this season. I really do believe that. Go back to that Forest game in the first half last year before Tim got injured. I'm telling you now, that was our best first half performance of the season. Nottingham Forest, we was absolutely electric here, right? We pressed the absolute shit out of them, and I couldn't believe how good we was. I was like, do you know what, right? I've seen us be good, and I thought we're going to be absolutely amazing this season. What happens? Tim does the UCL, and then everything just kind of goes to pot. But he didn't start Thomas Partey at right back for no reason at all. He didn't drop Gabriel in those first few games for no reason at all. I think that he had a different style of play that he wanted to play this year. And unfortunately, it went out the window, mate. It went out the window. And I think Havertz is a massive piece of that. But I think he starts in that centre midfield role, but he literally pushes right up beside. I think he wanted them to really push up beside a player like Nketiah or Jesus.
Yeah. Catherine says, then change the effing plan. You should always have at least another plan, backup plan, basically, as just in case someone gets hurt. And again, but how you to predict though, any player, let alone a new player, and on his debut, is going to just randomly come out. I mean, I did have a go at Arteta actually because he sort of took him up at half time in that situation because he took him not just before half time. There was a bit of a concern, should have just took him off and not risked it, and it backfired. Yeah. But he's back in training, as we saw in pictures in Dubai. He's walking and doing team training and all that, and he'll be back full-time team training next month, apparently. So it's all good there, and that side of things, but we still won't see him until early April, late April sort of time, depending on with any rehab and all that, how that goes between now and then.
Just to butt in quite one step, you've got to say, it ain't easy to get a player like Timber, another player like Timber.
No, not on short notice either. Like the season has started, window's about to close.
No, you can't find a player like that for love or money. I think I hope we go in for that Hatto, like probably next season. I hope that there is some kind of concrete rumour in that.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few outs come the summer. I think that like the Zinchenko and all that. Zinchenko, Jesus, depending on assuming we don't completely throw the season out now. We do get, as I say, we are on a title race. We go down to the last game or whatever. We're in that top three mix. Get deep in the competition of the Champions League. I do expect Arsenal to go big in terms of incomings, in terms of upgrades. And the likes of Jesus and Zinchenko and Eddie to start being phased out, depending on what business, obviously how much business we do incoming wise, but to be phased out at the very least and not sold. Talking of Eddie, I mentioned this on the watch along. Someone we know bumped into Eddie on match day on Saturday. Gave him a right earful without even knowing. Got to feel sorry for George.
He probably expressed his views about Eddie to the wrong person that day. bang right on him though. It's not. Do you know what I mean? He's got to say what he thinks at the end of the day.
What are the odds though? The guy,
I'd have loved to be
the
there.
guy's helping him as well. He doesn't know who he is, but the guy's helping him. He's like, oh, yeah, awesome. Yeah. He's like, it's gone in. He's like, oh, it's like, and as we're reading in the group chat, it's like, oh no, maybe you inspire him. And he scored a hat trick today, got an assist, and he came on. But still,
Yeah,
I just feel sorry for him. It was like, what? And the person that was with him just let him rat it off in front of him and let him dig a hole.
Do you know what? Just go on to the Eddie situation a little bit. Like, I think we all know that he's not the man to kind of take us forward and kind of sell. But even him at the start of the season, you look at the first couple of games, he scored against Forest, and you even look at the Palace game away that day. He won the penalty, didn't he? And he had some really good got opportunities that day. He was getting himself into them kind of positions. So it just shows you, yeah, right, how differently we was playing even at the start of the season till we got into about November time. And it just seems that something's not right. Something's not right. I just feel that something's derailed us this season. Probably the goalkeeping situation is a little piece to do about it. I think that's a bit.
I mean that's because of how that was dealt with, and we mentioned it before. How that was dealt with, that's had a massive.
I think that has had a little. It will do, because you got to remember, everyone's got an opinion at the end of the day. Like, the whole team would have an opinion. Every individual would have an opinion. But yeah, we're just missing something massively this year. But hopefully we got some confidence back on Saturday, and hopefully we can get Martinelli playing. I think getting Martinelli playing again is a big piece for us. But we need him to start doing it. We need him to start games and doing it, really. But if he's not doing it, then he's a great alternative as an impact plan. To be honest, he's probably the best player in the squad to have coming off the bench.
Off the bench wise, yeah, no doubt about it, because he's proven it before in the past. Come off the bench, bang. But I mean, didn't he come off the bench against Man United this time last year? He scored the winning goal, didn't he? He was off from the bench, wasn't he? Or did he start? I can't remember now. I just can't remember. Eddie Nketiah last year against United. Did he start, or did he come off the bench?
No, he scored like at home. He scored 2 in that game, didn't he?
2 in that. Yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he started that game.
But BX Eddie started and all that. Yeah, looks like Salah's out. We mentioned that already. But again, hopefully, whatever happens over the next 10, 11 days, whatever it is left in the window. Hopefully we get some players in, even if it's loaned, as I said, just get us through as a squad, get us through, because you never know injury-wise, no bloody luck, what's around the corner. If we can win, if we win one of the two, I don't care which one at this moment in time, there's one of the two as well, take it all day long. But going back to what you said about Palace, I mean, you could argue now, looking back, that playing Palace when we did, home or away, was a perfect timing, really. We'd had time off, we'd been away.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned already in this podcast, there's so much going on over at Palace within the fan base, towards the board, and all that turmoil there. Get argued good timing for us. Martinelli comes on with a point to prove, scores 2 goals. Eddie gets an assist. All the Gabriels are involved in all 5 goals, by the way. I don't know if anyone noticed that one. Obviously, two of the 3 scoring 4 of the goals.
Can you just get up early doors? Comment.
Yeah.
I think if you go back to the start of the show, mate, I think you'll see exactly. I actually back exactly what you said there.
Yeah. Early Doors says, "I get what you're saying, El Smargo, but you played a lackluster Palace here. Then go back to watch this back, or listen to this back on Spotify later, or whatever audio platform you listen to podcasts on." Liam does actually go into this. He does actually say, to be fair, it wasn't a 5-0 winning performance in the sense of the performance itself, and it was more of the quality of the team that we're playing that we got the 5 that we did, more than anything. But it might be a confidence booster, even though the performance weren't there.
You got to look at it like that. You got to look at it as like,
and because we've got that break now between that game and now the Forest game, let's just get our players back, get training, and just have a bit of breather and go again. And then it's the hard-hitting bang after Forest, Liverpool, boom. And then it's Liverpool, West Ham, someone else. First leg of the Champions League, someone else. I can't remember these other teams we've got coming up between the Champions League games. But yeah, it's going to start coming thick and fast after this little break that we've got now. So use it to our advantage. If it gets us the confidence going up and tells up going into that Liverpool home game, with or without Salah, I don't care. That should help us get over. Actually, finish our dinner against Liverpool, ironically, in the league this time round, unlike what we did against them in the FA Cup, where we could have created all the chances in the world but never fucking finished them.
I think that the Forest game, as I said, I think the Forest game is the big game. It could be the kind of the game with the glue. Do you know what I mean? It glues a few things together to get the confidence in.
Puts us on the
yeah, because that's a hard game. We're talking about a night game in Nottingham. We've struggled there the last we've lost 2 or 3 games there, haven't we, on the trot? And they got a new manager bounce. They beat Manchester United the other week under the lights in front of the TV cameras, and they're going to be well up for this. It's United, but they are going to be up for it. We know they're going to be up for it. They're going to keep reminding us how they won all the European Cups and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get all that. But this is the game that we need to go out and win. And because if we don't go out and win this game, the Liverpool home game is irrelevant in it, really. Whether we win or lose, we can't be losing to Nottingham Forest on that Wednesday night, because potentially by that point we'll be 8 points behind them, and that's too many points. That is, especially when you've got Manchester City as well in the equation, that's too many points. And at that point, I think that we'll be looking at putting our eggs in the Champions League basket. Like, we've got a tough lot of fixtures coming up. Nottingham Forest away, notoriously struggled. Liverpool at home, we just lost to them in the FA Cup. West Ham away, well, we literally lost to them just round the corner at home, and then Burnley away. So you look at the next 3 games: Forest, Liverpool, and West Ham. We need to get 9 points out of 9, if we're being totally honest. We can't afford to get anything less, and that's where we put ourselves in terms of the performance against Fulham. The West Ham game was a bit of a freak of a poor performance, I'd say. I think it was any other day, mate, we'd have won that game. But the Fulham game is the game, both home and away, that is really, really, really crippling us. We've dropped 5 points against them this year. Now, that's the game where that would be the game at the end of the season we'll look back on and just say, do you know what?
That cost us, or
that cost us massively. But that's why now we had to get 9 points out of 9 out of them 3 games to stand any chance for me to compete for the title.
Like Stefan says, Liverpool must. We're not saying they're not going to be tough, especially Liverpool at home. You know, in terms of at the Emirates, that's going to be tough because we just played them recently in the FA Cup at home and didn't finish our dinner. So their tails are going to be up with or without Salah, as we know. And we just got to catch them by surprise, like we did last season. Catch them by surprise and actually finish our dinner. The thing is, with the FA Cup game, if we finished our dinner in that game, it would be us in the FA Cup this weekend coming, not them. That was the fine details in the end of that game. West Ham away, yes. Is it West Ham away? I think now we played. West Ham away. West Ham away. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. London Stadium. Look at last year. That was a game that sort of started the ball rolling in terms of the fall away from the title race and all that. That really confirmed it and whatever. Their fans, since Declan's left, come to us. We played them twice. They beat us twice. Their fans are going to be buzzing, thinking they're going to make it a hat trick. Again, we've just got to catch them off by surprise and actually finish our dinner. And if we can keep Kudos, I don't know if Kudos will be back by then, but if we keep Kudos quiet, Bowen, Alvarez, and Paqueta, depending on his situation now, and he's out for, we've got a chance though. It's just about turning up on the day and getting it tactically spot on, performance spot on, and finishing our dinner. We've shown we can create chances. It's just about putting it in the back of the net more than once as well. This is another thing, a trait that I've seen this season is we score early goals like we did against Fulham. Fluke as it was, we still scored it, and we take our foot off the gas. We did against Palace at the weekend. We 1-0 up early on, took our foot off the gas for a bit until we got the second. Then we took our foot off the gas again until we got the third, and it's only in the end, the last few minutes, where we turned it on and went relentless mode and went 4 and 5, because they just gave Martinelli all the space in the world. And maybe this dropping of Martinelli is going to give him the kick up the arse that he needed, because he's not been the same as you mentioned. He's start of the season, you could tell there's a bit of fatigue there and all that. But it's just never, he hasn't clicked in until recently. He's just not been hit and miss, not like kicking on. You would have thought the Man City goal, even though it was a deflection, could have kicked him on then. But maybe now, second half of the season, everyone just starts kicking in together. We get our players back from injuries and we just kick on and do what we can, and just hope along the way that this, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, that you've got 3 or 4 other teams going with us against Man City and taking points off Man City and each other respectively, whilst we're taking points off them, and see where it leads us. Hopefully, it gets us. I want the title. I know it's the 5 points off it and all that, and things are against us at the moment, but I want that title. We've waited 20 years, Liam. I want the title.
Oh yeah, I totally feel your pain, mate. I said it. I thought this season was a season too early. Still, I think last year we surprised ourselves. We surprised the league with what we did in that first half of the season, especially. I think this season, we still lack that top-notch striker, and another centre midfielder, and maybe a little bit of squad depth at the back, especially in the full-back positions. I think next year is going to... I'm going to be totally honest now, guys. I don't think we're going to win the league this year. But what I will say is I think that we've got a good opportunity to throw everything at the Champions League. We need a bit of luck. We do need a bit of luck.
Yeah.
In the draw.
Luck and performances. I think Champions League wise, I think again, if you look at performance in the Champions League this season compared to the league this season, we actually look like in Champions League, we look like the Arsenal from last season, but in the Champions League, it seems like the way the format is, that the way you can play in the Champions League suits this team to a T. If we can avoid a Madrid or Man City to the final, if we can avoid them and play one of them in the final in a one-off game, you never know. Yeah. 2 legs might be too much to ask for, but in one-off game, and it's at Wembley as well, but in a one-off game, you never know.
But even if we did get obviously I'd rather have Real Madrid than Man City in the semi-final. But even if we what a fantastic occasion that is, mate. You get Real Madrid and you're at European Champions League semi-final. I like to add we've never conceded a goal against Real Madrid in Champions League either. Oh. Touch, where were you? Wait a minute. I'm touching everything. But I think we can give it a good. I think that's potentially what's going to happen, guys. I think that I just don't see us winning the games, every game that we need to do with the way we've been performing throughout the season to probably concrete a proper title charge. But I do think that if we can go into the Champions League and throw everything in our baskets, get Timber back fit, hopefully get Partey back fit at some point into that equation, then I don't see why we can't go. I don't think we see why we can't go like literally toe to toe with potentially most of the teams. And like you said, if Barcelona can get Real Madrid either in the quarter, ideally in the semi-finals, and we've avoided them at that point, then do you know what? Maybe we could dream of a Wembley trip. Do you know what I mean? And let's be honest, we love Wembley in May and June. We love Wembley in May and June. And it's our second home, if we're being totally honest, Joe. It's our second home in terms of kind of being at Wembley in cup finals. I know obviously the League Cup's not been so great, but like FA Cup, we've kind of swept up in, haven't we? Every time we've gone there over the last 15 years. So, yeah, I just think that I think the players are motivated for it as well. And I think, like you said, the style's different. You ain't going to have a West Ham turn up with like 10 players behind the ball. You're not going to have Crystal Palace set up with five defenders in defence in the Champions League. Teams are more assured of themselves. They want to come out. They want to play football. And that's what makes football. That's why the Champions League's the best, because you see proper matches. At the moment, it's hard to be absolutely critical of Arsenal because we're all absolutely critical of Arsenal. But we have to look as well how teams are setting up at the moment.
Yeah,
against us. They're making it like so difficult for the players. And I think that these players will enjoy playing in the Champions League much more this year.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I know early doors said put on no mugs, it won't be easy. I think
No, not.
So
They're not mugs.
I think if we get the first leg, the first leg's at their place, so if we go there, it's gonna be a hostile atmosphere. Their fans are gonna be up for it because they're to be the underdogs anyway. As far as most people in the world will see it, they'll be up for it. As I say, it's always we've got when we've gone there before with Wenger back in the day. It was always a tough place to go on to get a result for us. If we can go there, nil, even if it's dull 0-0 or a scrappy 1-0 win, come back to the Emirates. I think again, the way we've been playing at the Emirates in the Champions League, we've been blitzing teams. We've blitzed PSV, we've blitzed Sevilla, we've blitzed Lens. All three teams we blitzed at home, and I think that's going to be key for us. I think the key thing with this tie is us being at home in the second leg, and then obviously going and then do as long as we do the business in the first leg and keep, as I say, even 0-0 or a draw, because there's no away goals either. So any sort of draw and or a 1-0 win or a one goal swing win in our favour, we take it back to the Emirates. Our place will be rocking that night, absolutely rocking. And I think we've done with Lens and PSV and Sevilla. I think we'll blitz them. I do think the second leg, especially in the second leg, we'll blitz them in that. Like we've done, like we did a few years back. That was a few years back in 2008, 2009 when we played them in the quarterfinals. I think it was. We had like Nasri, and Nasri had that amazing jerking run and boom. It was like we lost the first leg 2-1, but second leg we just blitzed them 5-0 in the second leg. Absolutely blitzed the life out. I think it'd be a similar outcome. Second by the end of the second leg, we'll blitz them, and then that'd be it. We'll be in the quarterfinals, safe and sound.
You got to look at every team that's in that Champions League, didn't you? Right?
Oh yeah,
they're all at this stage now, yeah, right? That 99% of them teams that are in that second round are at a good percentage. Like nothing's going to be an easy game, but you like to think over two legs. As long as we do a professional job away from home at Porto, and like let's be honest, we're not going there like we did with Sporting last year, mix the team up. We're not doing that this year. So people want to start saying, well, we did it in the Europa League last year. We was mixing teams up last year in terms of trying to keep the Premier League team fresh. But this year we'll play our very best team. But we do need to go to Porto, be very professional in our approach. And the one thing I'd say about Sporting last year, away from home, is we didn't take our chances again. We should have had them out of sight in that first leg. Where the game was so open, and we should have had them out of sight, and we just didn't take our chances. But we are going to need to do that now. Obviously, I love a bit of an additional push in the transfer window. I can't see us getting it at the moment, but I think that would be something if we could get some kind of push that would kind of support the confidence in the team moving forwards, going into that later stages. But
also
the team.
It'll also be interesting to sort of see what if he's available, what sort of reception he gets if he goes back home, Fabio Vieira. Because he'll be part of the if he's available, he'll be part of that matchday squad.
What is the plan for Fabio Vieira? What is the plan? Because
currently injured, I don't know. I think he's more impactful from the bench, first in terms of domestic wise. But again, in the European format, I think he's more suited to the European format for us, especially in this Champions League.
Could he be an opportunity again? Could we see us playing him out there? Do you know what I mean? Knowing the league now and say I don't know, but Fabio Vieira, like don't get me wrong, from where he was last year to this year, at least he's had some impact in the team this year. But yeah again, I think he's another player, a bit like Trossard a little bit, that needs to show a lot more impact in terms of when he's given the opportunity.
Yeah, and like Gary says here as well, Liverpool. This got the Klopp's Liverpool. Were successful in the Champions League before they won the Premier League, and that is a point. They won one of the two. It was the Champions League they won first to get them kick-started in this successful year that they've had.
Well, look, they're not in the Champions League this year. There's another opportunity for us to go all out this year because they would be one of the teams that we wouldn't want to go to Anfield, just be totally honest, like at any point in the Champions League for a two-legged affair. So they're out a bit this year, which says to me, at the moment, this is the best opportunity. But like you've all said, like every team's going to be good. Like even down to the teams like Dortmund, Barcelona, like they're going to be fantastic games of football. They're going to be games of football where teams come out and want to play football and want to win. And I think that suits us better than what we're seeing in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah. BX says Fabio in and around the box goes for goal, and I like that. Strike first, ask questions later. but just getting him in them position. I think, as I say, European wise on a European night, the way we've been playing this season, I think it's best suited. I think the Champions League ties are best suited for him, getting him minutes and getting his confidence up.
That's probably the only thing that I'm very shocked about Havertz at the moment, that he's not getting himself into them kind of opportunities much. But you even watched him in the Champions League. He was better even in midfield in the Champions League. I think he's a bit different for us in the Champions League to what he's in the Premier League, to be honest with you, Havertz.
No, yeah.
I think that European teams, I don't think they set up that way, and I think it makes it easier for him as well. But I thought in the Champions League, Havertz looked really good.
No, yeah, exactly. Again, European. One of the reasons we needed to bring players like him in, because he has recent Champions League experience, which our team going into the summer was lacking, apart from lots of maybe Thomas Partey. I'm trying to think who else now. I'm actually genuinely trying to think now. Bloody hell! Right. I think Saliba played like Europa League. He never played Champions League, even at Marseille.
I think there's only about two. Jesus,
Jorginho. So there's like 2 or 3 players. So we needed to go and get some Champions League proven players. Haven't falls into that bracket. No matter what people think, he falls into that bracket. And like you say, if anything, we are getting more general better performances, consistent wise, in the Europeans, because again, the European format seems to suit his style of play. Because we are more open and we can play the way we want to play, like we did, as I say, like we did last year in the league in general.
Be interesting what he does with the left back position away at Porto. Does he stick with Zinchenko or does he put Tomiyasu back there if there is no one else?
I thought you were going to say put Havertz at left back.
He's called Germany there, didn't he? But what does he do there? Because, like, to be honest, I think I'd rather see Tomiyasu start there away.
Tomiyasu all day long, because he can get back and defend it, and he's a unit as well.
You never know. Timber might be back by that point. Like I think Timber's more for the quarterfinals. I say
quarter semis, give or take, depending when they actually take part and all that. Yeah,
I think definitely don't want to be thinking that he's going to be thrown in at the deep end. But I think if we can progress into the quarters, see where the quarters takes us in terms of draw, and hopefully by that point, if we can get a Timber and Partey back, then I think we've got a good opportunity. As long as the draw's nice to us, to get to at least get to a semi, then you just see you getting a semi, then take it from there. Really,
if we get a semis, it's going to be no matter who we get. There's no way this year's semis will be like last year's semis. Last year's semis, you knew Madrid, Man City, and Madrid, Man City against each other, and the Milan.
Munich in there, isn't they?
You were saying that they did lose at the weekend to a team I've never even heard of. To be honest, no. Who did they play this weekend? Hamburg or something like that? They lost. They want to bring these Tottenham players in, and suddenly they're bottling it a bit here. They're Spursing it up in the league.
Well, you got to look at the Bayern Munich game. They're not the Bayern Munich of old, are they? Like we see Bayern Munich about 4 years ago? It was during lockdown, wasn't it? They were incredible at that point. They were literally battering everyone, but
they were fluid.
Let's be honest, right? We played against Kane home and away, and he's got a good record against us. But let's be honest, we've won a lot of games as well with Kane in the team. Yeah,
exactly. No, exactly. And you know what? I know I said on Denny's show, back at Wonderland, before the season started, if they got Kane up, I'll put Bayern Munich up there, but I'm wrong. I don't think they're going to. I think if we get them over 2 legs, I fancy us over the 2 legs, depending, no matter how the narrative is, home or away, whatever way it's round it is, who's home first and who's away first. I do fancy us to at least put up a fight. It may potentially cause an upset because, as you say, they're not the same as they were when we last played them in the Champions League. They're not the same as they were back in the lockdown, as we were coming out of during the pandemic. So they're not that same fluid, aggressive team that they once were, and even with Harry, and that we're seeing he's down a bit of a dry spell, and that was you suggest we've beaten Tottenham with him and without him in that team.
I'd be more worried with the atmosphere going Dortmund away without him.
Yeah,
if you said to me first leg at Dortmund, Well, the second leg would be probably even worse, to be fair, wouldn't it, if you didn't do.
I'd rather have first leg of Dortmund in a home second leg.
Yeah.
That would
But like going somewhere like Dortmund with quite a young team, that's a bit of an eye opener, isn't it? They're the kind of games that you see the kind of mentality of certain players. I think that would be quite a tricky game. I don't really want to be. I'm hoping Dortmund get knocked out by someone. I don't know who they got in the next round, but for some reason I just want to avoid them. I don't know why. For some reason I just want to avoid them.
Maybe look at them.
Paris Saint-Germain, you look at them. They struggled in the group stages, but they've got the players.
Their team they got out of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would be a great contest. Mbappe versus Saliba.
Right, let's have a look. Right, the draw is for the last 16. You've got RB Salzburg versus Bayern Munich. With Bayern Munich being at home in the second leg. Benfica versus Ajax. Is this year? No, it's out this year. What have they done?
Is that the wrong one?
They've given us last year's one by the looks of it. I think they are idiots. What UEFA website? One sec. Here we go. Got it up now. So is it us versus Porto versus Arsenal? PSG versus Real Sociedad. That's not going to be easy. Whoever gets through that.
Yeah, that'd be tricky.
PSV versus Dortmund.
I fancied Dortmund, but I didn't think much of PSV.
No, I think their full focus on the Indonesia, the domestic league. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Copenhagen versus Man City. Well, Man City will walk that over 2 legs.
Yeah, of course.
Napoli versus Barcelona.
That's a big second leg game. That is, isn't it?
The Maradona derby.
I wouldn't be surprised if Napoli knocked Barcelona out.
Yeah, that could go either way. Ideally, as an Arsenal man, I want Barcelona to get through just so we can try and, if we get them, I want revenge for 2006.
Yeah, I'd love to get
Barcelona. Just for that reason alone. But yeah, anyone could go either way. Napoli, yeah, and if Napoli get through, again we get them. I still fancy us over the 2 legs. I'm not being arrogant. I'm just saying, going by what we've got, how they're doing this season.
Yeah.
Next tie is Inter Milan versus Atletico Madrid.
Do you know what we are after the Atletico Madrid one, don't we? After the Europa Cup semi-final.
Yeah, another one I want revenge on. Yeah.
But obviously that would be a hard. You can, whoever you get out of them 2 games won't be easy games. Like you'd have to be at your best.
Yeah,
you still have to be at your best.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you got Lazio versus Bayern Munich.
You expect
Bayern to get through that. And RB Leipzig versus Real Madrid.
And obviously, I fancy Real Madrid.
Yeah. So really looking at that, as you mentioned, you've got whoever wins the PSG Real Sociedad. That'll be a tough fixture for whoever gets down, depending on whoever else gets through. Obviously, Dortmund. It'll be tough. If PSV was to knock out Dortmund, you'd fancy yourself against PSV, no matter who you are, with all due respect. Man City will get through, Bayern will get through, Madrid will get through, as in Real Madrid. And the ones that are up in the air, as I say, the ones up in the air, Napoli versus Barca, Inter versus Atletico, PSG versus Real Sociedad, the ones that are up in the air. But again, a couple of them, you'd fancy yourself on your day, basically.
I fancy ourselves if we can get Thomas Partey back fit and back.
Yeah,
I think if we don't get him back, then I think it's a much harder contest. Like I think for us to be able to compete in the semi-finals, we need Partey back in the starting lineup, and we need potentially by the quarterfinals, second leg, Timber back in there as well.
Here you go, the shots coming in from Gary in the old US of A.
You ain't got to worry about me, mate. You ain't got to worry about me. All good, mate. It's when goals go in the other side, mate, that you got to worry about me. In the other end.
But thankfully, you didn't have to worry about, and that's That's another damning indictment. I mean, they had one chance in the first half. Where I thought, I wanted to kill Ray at one point. In the first half, he literally passed it into midfield. But apart from that, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because if I go down that rabbit hole, Gary jump on me, call me a hater.
It was a comfortable game of football, but there's bigger fish to fry.
Famous last words there.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. So I mean, we've not really gone into the game itself, but what else was there to say, really? I mean, we didn't really get challenged. We got the goals we needed to get. This is the key thing we needed going into the game, was to score one way or the other. Not just goals; it was from the attackers, and eventually, I mean, first half was drab. Apart from the goals that happened and they came from Gabriel, it was a very drab first half. The attackers didn't get much of a look in. When they did, they skied it into row fucking Z and wanted to fucking lynch them sometimes. And it took 15 minutes into the second half, and we got that third goal, 15, 20 minutes, give or take. And then suddenly that came from both. That came from the assist came from the attacker and Jesus. Trossard with the goal again. Sort of Man United fans had nightmares watching that goal, probably because of flashbacks in the season. And there you go. Stefan Zappi. Ipswich just equalised against Leicester. There you go.
Oh, that's a big old result, isn't it?
Big goal.
That is a big old result, mate.
I think that's coming to the end of its game as well. We're in the UK as we're recording this. Nearly 10-10 at night, so could be last ditch equaliser.
He'd be happy with that one, won't he?
Oh yes, that's all.
He'd be happy with that one.
Avoided defeat and all that, but going back to us, it's like it was only from that moment where we started actually opening up Palace, creating chances, still not taking our dinner until Martinelli came on, and then he finished. Both goals very Henry-esque. I will say that, by the way, the way he opened up his body and just slotted it in the opposite corner. Both. But like we say, this could be the kick up the backside he needed to get himself going again.
Do you know what we need, right? We need someone like we probably could do it, Martinelli just playing 30, 40 minutes of games, but have someone who can give us a really good competition, who's going to run them ready for 60. If you could play Jesus on the left, and I like Jesus. Do you know what I thought about Jesus Saturday? Yeah, right. He didn't have a great game. He didn't even have a very good game.
It was okay.
I thought he got better. I thought he got better as the game got on. I did actually think he got better as the game got on. And I think he needs a goal, don't he? He needs a goal.
Yeah. Definitely. And the thing is, I think we saw it against City when we obviously Saka was rested against City, wasn't he? In the season, that was a game he got rested because he wasn't injured.
Yeah, he played right wing.
Yeah, Jesus played right wing, and he didn't do a bad job. He did it in his actual position. Yeah. So play him out there.
Can he do it game after game out there? That's what you got to ask yourself, isn't it? And
I think personally, against of all due respect to these teams we've had, Palace this weekend and got Forest coming up, it's worth the risk.
But that's where
against the bigger teams, against the Liverpools, your Cities, and all at home and away, you play your striker up top, and play Saka obviously. And all that, he plays in the position and all that. But against the Palaces, against the Forests and all that, and the Burnley, Sheffield United of this world, home and away, and all them sort of teams, risk it. Play a risk. Mix it up a bit.
Would you play Trossard up top again?
I would. I mean, when we played him up top this season, every time we played him in the false nine this season, he gets involved. He's a bit of a nuisance. He scores goals. He puts his body in the line, like we saw Burnley. The Burnley goal he scored, threw his body on the line to make sure that ball went in the net.
Does he need just to run a games?
I think so. I think that's what's lacking. That's why we're not seeing it with game in, game out, because he's like in out. He's in the squad. He's out the squad. He's in the squad. He's out the squad. He needs, like Smith, he needs a run of games just to get his levels up and kick on. We saw it at Brighton. When he was weak, I know it's different at Brighton because you're guaranteed the minutes at Brighton, with all due respect to them. But when he was playing week in, week out, because he's got that match fitness there constantly and run of games. We saw the performances. We saw the goals and the assists and how influential he was in that team. And as I say, no, it's different. You can't guarantee him guaranteed minutes all the time, but you can give him a run of games consistent ones, four or five games, maybe 6 games, and just not see how things go. Because the league, like we've mentioned before earlier on in the podcast, the league is in general a poor, standard-wise, very poor this season in terms of the lesser teams. You got your teams up there in terms of us, Villa, your Cities, your Liverpools, them knocked down the road. I'm trying to think who else now. And you got the other teams that's just there, like the Newcastles and your Brightons and all that. They're fighting for the European, the Conference League and all that spot and all that. But them sort of teams are down. They're not coming out against us and trying to nick the wins. They're just like we saw yesterday. As soon as you score a goal against them, they just go, okay, have the 3 points. The only time they'll come up, they sort of put the fight is if they score first, and that's
where we run out. That's when we run out of run out of answers, don't we? When a team scores first and they just then know, yeah, right. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to literally play that low block and just obviously play at least 5 at the back, if not 6 or 7. And that's why it's so vital that we don't concede the first goal in games. But as it proves, mate, set pieces are a massive part, aren't they? And at times, yet again, as I said at the start of the show, we've not really done what we need to do at times with set pieces. I know we've got a good record compared to most teams, but when you start looking at how many corners we get per game and free kicks we get per game, like shocking one. One from Mr. Morgan, but shame he's not here at the moment. I'm going to dig him out here. So, can you tell me the last time, Ryan, we scored a free kick?
Oh, fucking hell, right. Something, bloody hell. Not
Mr.
this
Morgan, where are you?
Help. No, last time I can think of, I'm trying to think now. Bloody hell. Last season at some point, maybe? Granit Xhaka. It's Granit Xhaka, I know that much. Gotta be. Go on. You say Odegaard.
Martin Odegaard.
I'm walking off.
Martin Odegaard.
Oh, Burnley.
Is that 2021?
21. Is it away to Burnley?
Yep.
Me.
Ivan Toney Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bit of behaviour.
Mind you,
here, but still.
Mind you, it's a controversial one. But my question, what I'm trying to direct, it ain't about Ivan Toney. I just thought I'd get that little digging on Mr. Morgan.
I've said this as well when it's been brought up in Russ. Is like, no, penalty reaction. I've said he scores free kicks as well, Russ.
Free kicks can win games, mate. Free kicks can win games, even if you do move the ball a little bit over to the left or right hand side. But you know what my argument with that is, right, with what he did there, right, it was a bit devious, but you know what? Sometimes you need that. It weren't like he moved the ball forward like we've seen teams move balls forward 5-10 yards, is it? He moved it.
I think it's more so he moved it twice and then got the L fine.
Yeah, it was more that he moved. He basically made his own little line as well. But he actually didn't actually profit by moving it forwards. He moved it sideways. But that's another area. Why are we not scoring free kick? Like you need to have that in your team as well. You need to have that in your team, a free kick taker. And I just find it unbelievable that we don't score many free kicks.
Yeah, that's mad.
Because you think, right, back in the day, we had Pepe taking free kicks, scoring free kicks. I know, don't get me wrong, I'm not singing up with Pepe and Aubameyang because that strike force never cut the mustard whatsoever, even with the amount of money they cost. I know Aubameyang scored a lot of goals for us, but it was a big flop, weren't it? Like I said, Pepe and Aubameyang together. But we had players that could score free kicks. But at the moment, we ain't got anyone who can take free kick. I want to see someone score a free kick for us.
Yeah, you think the
You're stumped on that, ain't you? You're actually stumped on that, ain't you?
That's actually got me. I didn't think it was that bloody long. Jesus Christ.
I can't think of another free kick. Unless someone else can tell me about another free kick, I can't think of another free kick.
because the free kicks we normally get, even if they're in shooting range, we usually just cross them in or pass it out to someone else or something. You'd think the set piece wise, the set piece coaches and all that.
Yeah.
They'd be
Anyone
working on
else
that
can
as
tell me
well.
of a free kick than Martin Odegaard, and I just can't think of one. I can't think of where we scored another one.
I'll touch on this actually. I don't know if you watched it, Match of the Day. Do you know about the controversy that came from the Arsenal fans during that Match of the Day?
In terms of
them basically potentially not, we don't know if it's true or not, because they're just they could be just plucking at thin air basically, but potentially ruining our tactic on set pieces with Odegaard socks.
Oh, I see that. Do you know what, mate? Right, they're so infested in us, right?
Yeah.
That no other team in the whole Premier League, would be exploited. No other team in the whole of the Premier League would be exploited for that.
It was just like I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, because obviously I didn't watch it live, like I watched it back about a half hour behind and all that on the playback, but I was just like, I was seeing a couple of people mention it on X/Twitter, and I'm thinking, no, he's probably just overreaction. It's just Twitter, whatever. I've watched it and I'm like, they've actually gotten dug. They're that bored that it's. I know it's only 2 games on Saturday that's gone, but you're that bored, you're that aggravated that we didn't fuck up against Palace, that you've spent hours going out your way to potentially fuck up our set piece tactics, basically, by going, well, if you look at this, every time there was a corner and a certain way it went in, Odegaard would do this to his sock, he'd do that. And like I say, no other I've never seen any other team have that much analysing onto a set piece. It's the backhanded thing of before in the build up to that as well, of praising the guy, our set piece coach, praising him. He's doing an amazing job since he's come in. Defensively, offensively, Arsenal have improved. Oh, by the way, this is a tactic: putting up socks, touching his socks in a certain way.
Right, team's got, mate. Something. Just pull up Stefan's comment for me about the rant. This guy's obviously been off the earth, ain't he? I've been found on shows all over the world because of a rant I had the other week.
That nothing to do with me, by the way. Just to be clear, I did not put that video out live.
No,
I did not clip it up. I did not send it to anyone. They clipped it up themselves. He was even on the football channel, for fuck's sake.
Oh, he could at least come and get my approval first. But yeah, and this guy hasn't had a rant in ages.
Just didn't get my approval either. None of them got my approval. It's my bloody channel.
It's a bit of a piss take, isn't it? No one wants to see my celebration against Luton, though. That don't go nowhere.
apart from on my TikTok, it got over.
Yeah, exactly. They only want us when we're losing. The lot of them.
Oh dear.
Please come to that. Please come to that.
You didn't mention that one, did you? Don't mention that one. I've seen your comments today. Arsenal in the chat. Oh, Arsenal win 5-0. We're all complaining. You weren't saying that when we beat fucking Luton 4-3. Declan scoring the last minute winner, and Liam's lost his head near. He had his head ripped off by his missus.
They don't want to see that, mate. They just want to see me lose my bits.
Oh dear! But I just found that completely bizarre. Like as you say, no other couple would have had that sort of deep analysing into their set pieces like that. And that just really pissed me off, especially when I see it was Alex Scott, an Arsenal legend, ex-Arsenal player for us, hosting, and she's just egging it on. And the Sky have jumped at it today. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Another reason why I'm thinking.
Do you really think there's much in it? Do you think there is something in it?
No, I don't think it is. I think he's on the edge of the box. He's bored.
He's just waiting, and he's just waiting. No, come on, mate. I'm not having that. Someone doing their socks is going to make a massive impact.
No, of all the things to fucking analyse in that game, they decided to touch on him putting his socks up, waiting for a corner to be taken.
I'd rather see them training up, taking shots, scoring free kicks.
They took more time analysing that than they did actually analysing any of our goals. By the way,
mate, no other team would get that scrutiny. I'm telling you, you know it, I know it. Everyone in this stream knows it. No other team would get that scrutiny. No one. Man City wouldn't get exposed for that. Liverpool wouldn't get exposed for that. Like, it's just unbelievable the lengths they go to with us to kind of work out every bit of detail. Oh, mate, it's a joke. It don't surprise me much of the day as well.
But the fact that Sky have then jumped on it, and I'm like, seriously, are we actually having this discussion?
It's too much detail. I mean, like, come on, man.
True or not? Just really? But even if it is true, Arsenal, do they think Arsenal aren't our coaches and all that, and the players aren't smart enough to go, oh well, we'll think of a new signal.
If they are, though, fair play to them. Do you know what I mean? Because it obviously worked on Saturday.
Yeah, quite literally.
That's the way it's looking at it.
Out of spite, I'd fuck up the media and fuck them up, making them think they're right for one game, make them think they're right, and go.
Mate, I'd be doing my socks up all the time now. I'll stop doing my laces up and everything.
Yeah. Literally, like the little lacing around their shorts, tie that up, things like unset. Like Odegaard doing all that, undoing it.
I just want to tell Stefan you are not getting your Monday night fix tonight.
Taps in the toes, kicking thin air, pointing in a certain direction. That's a completely screw of them. Why fuck it for one game, and then go back to Liverpool and just do the socks again.
Like, what player's going to be sitting there looking at Odegaard's sock while he's brewing up for
exactly. Well, they're trying to defend a third piece.
I love it if they are now, though, mate. It might even help us even more moving forward. You got all their players looking at Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, all 10 outfield players looking at Odegaard.
Ball waxing sleeve.
Like bang, 1-0.
Mate, everyone wants to be a clever Trevor, don't they? Everyone wants to be that man. I expose this set piece routine.
Turns out there's a lot of bollocks, and like Alan Shearer said, you're clutching at straws. It's a lot of crap. I've had to go on United channels to get my well. That's it. You've had that for all last season as well. Get used to it.
You're gonna still have a lot more pleasure on that one, mate.
Gav's old video is disgraceful. Well, actually, if you want Arsenal ranting, there's a guy in Spain, an 40-year-old man in Spain that likes to rant no matter what, win, lose, or draw. If you want your ranting, that's the place to go, apparently.
Apparently, my cat, just off radar a minute, sorry. Apparently, my cat's being a knob at the moment. Oh, yeah, she's sitting in front of the TV screen. Right, so I was trying to watch Love Island. Brilliant.
I mean, the fact you're missing trying to watch Love Island is a bit concerning.
Exactly that. Oh, here she is. The cat, that is.
Yeah. Here she is.
I've seen a few of them in my time.
Oh dear, got to laugh, don't you? Cry. But yeah, I think we'll wrap this up. We're going just over an hour and a half. I know you've got work in the morning as well. You're getting back into the swing of things at work. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going all right. On a cheeky little phase return at the moment. This last 2 weeks, I'm doing 10 till 5. So yeah, but
you got good news as well, work-wise as well. Last week,
yeah,
good on you for that one. Congratulations on that one.
Got a little promotion, so yeah, I'm going to be hitting the old big leagues hopefully. But yeah, no, got a new role which is going to be working from home. Yeah, looking forward to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I won't have to go into kind of centres or that anymore. But obviously, it's going to be a change of job role. So yeah, see how it goes.
That's going to be interesting come the summer then. When you got two little ones running around. Well, one running around and one screaming it.
I'll be working in a bar, mate. I'll tell you that much.
I was going to ask you as well. Did the bar? I was going to ask you, did the bar survive the weather this week?
No, I was in work. I was in work today. Yeah, but one of the girls went to me. She goes, "Oh, did you see the storms last night?" And she was like, "I was like, yeah." She goes, "Oh." She said, I think she said to me, like, how's your work roof tiles? I goes, well, I wasn't really worried about my roof tiles. I was more worried about my garden bar. Now, basically, I left one of the windows off, and I've realised, like, halfway through the evening that literally I had left it off, and I couldn't go out there to put it on because it was awful.
It's so mad.
Yeah. So I literally jumped in there, just knocked everything onto the floor and all that. But yeah, everything survived.
Ooh.
So I know everyone would like to know, especially Mr. Greenwood, the old Benidorm.
Yeah, Benidorm Benidorm Part 2 will be returning come the spring.
Very
Don't worry,
soon,
fan.
mate. Very soon it'll be returning. Hopefully late March, early April, if the weather picks up.
If the weather picks it up, yeah. I think we've got one more storm apparently coming our way in the next week or so. Apparently, worse, mild to this or whatever, or worse. I don't know. They say one thing, it doesn't even happen sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good news as well in terms of that survived. Obviously, promotion. Arsenal win 5-0. You're back at the games. What more can you ask for?
Ain't been a bad week, is it? All in all.
It's like the signs were there, weren't they? From the news that you got from your work, and it's just week by day, it's just got better and better.
Yeah, they say it comes in threes. I wonder what the third thing is.
Twins.
Man City finally get punished. That'd be the best thing, wouldn't it, guys?
That would be the third, actually.
That would be the great third. Man City finally punished.
Oh dear. Amazing though, but before I actually do go and all that, amazing though, suddenly we're getting driplets of information on that because of the backlash the Premier League are getting, because they're going after Everton again. They're going after Forest, smaller clubs, with all due respect, compared to City at the moment.
I think that's pretty much going to run into next year, into the year after, isn't it?
When you've got the government in Westminster calling the Premier League in meetings and saying what's going on with Man City, why not going after them? Why is that not being dealt with yet? I mean, we're suddenly getting driplets. When that's happening, you've got to be asked a question. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a date in place, but it's not. We can't tell you. And all these Man City fans. By the way, the Man City fans are really exposing themselves this weekend because obviously their CEO has quit and gone to Manchester United, the other side of Manchester.
That's interesting.
Oh, and it's all the big Man City fans out there, the Steve Man City fan, and all that lot. Oh, wait until he gets exposed for being part of this 115 charges. When he gets charged for this and he's part of it, then they see who's laughing and all that. Well, you're basically saying that you've done what you're being accused of. Then, as fans, you're saying that, yeah, and what? So brace yourself, see the relegation and into the non-league, become the new Rangers of England.
There's no smoke without fire, is there, with that one?
No, it's going to get messy, and
yeah,
hopefully, if the Premier League want again, it's all well and good proving a point against the lesser teams, with all due respect. But he was bound, and that's how he's been titled, leaving and going to. So don't start with that bollocks. But to really ram home that they're taking this seriously, this whole FFP situation in England seriously, they need to go after City. If they don't, if they let City go off on this,
I don't think they will.
If they did, the backlash will be immense. Yeah. Every couple will be like, "Well, fuck you then. We're gonna just go spend our own money then." Because what are you going to do?
But this is why I don't think they can. I think this is. Don't get me wrong. It's not good for Forest or Everton, but at the end of the day, yeah, right. Even with them, there's no smoke without fire. If you're getting charged for you're getting charged with deducted points, you've done something wrong. But I've always stated, I think what's happened to Everton and what's going on with Forest, the league cannot whatsoever avoid letting City off. And I think if they get found guilty of a lot of charges, I think they will be. I think they will be expelled from the Premier League. I think they could face a relegation. I actually do think that. I actually think that because of what they're punishing Everton for, right, that they would put them
on one charge.
Yeah, exactly. They would put themselves in so much jeopardy in terms of court lawyer cases, the lot, if they didn't act on Man City. So I think they have to. Where it's going to get messy is Man City can have all the top lawyers from all the way around the world and all that fight in their corner, and that's why. Like I know people are sitting there and going, "Oh well, why have not Man City been done yet?" This is big. This is massive. This ain't. Yeah. Because the whole thing, this is absolute massive. That can have a full investigation, and it is frustrating. But do you know what? I wouldn't want to win a league yet, right? Because they've had a 30-point deduction in the same season. Because we'd never hear the end of it. I want them banished out of the league if it's true. Banished out of the league, and then if you win a league, then they weren't part of the competition. What I don't want is for them to be like 10 points clear, get a 30-point deduction, and you win the league because of that. Because It's such in it, mate.
Yeah.
It's tainted, mate, and you'd never hear the end of it. You would never hear the end of it from fans, or it won't even be their fans. It'd be the likes of Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, Tottenham fans. Do you know what I mean? Because no one really knows a Man City fan. Overall, no one really knows a City fan.
No.
So I think that they've got to do something, mate. It's too big for them not to do something, and they'll just, if they didn't do something, mate, Everton and the likes of Forest would have their lawyers in there straight away.
Yeah,
but don't expect it for another year or two. But does this? I mean, it is a strange move that he's gone from Man City to Man United. It is very strange.
Yeah, it's a massive FU basically to the current lot of Man City, his previous employers basically.
They either get found not guilty.
If
they get found not guilty, right, then that's the only way I see them getting out of it. If they get found not guilty of anything.
Sorry, what was it? Tottenham, was it not a couple of years back? They went to Juventus and took their main guy from Juventus in terms of in the board and all that. Took him on. Like 7-8 months later, he got found guilty of the bribery situation and the financial stuff that went off last year. And then suddenly he's been banned from football, so they've had to sack him off. And you look back now, it's like maybe this could be a repeat of that again. Imagine that, Jesus.
Man United would know what's going on in the background. They won't know what's going on in the background. Surely Man United wouldn't speak.
It's the Glazers. Come on.
Yeah, true.
Look at the owners.
You'd like to think that Man United wouldn't put themselves in that kind of jeopardy, but then again, like you said, Man United have not really covered themselves in glory since Ferguson's left. We've been totally on the show. It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, chief operating officer. Well, whatever. It's pretty much the same thing. Whatever. I don't really care. In that side of things, it's like it happened. It did do it. It went down. It's gone down the route. It's gone down. Jonesy's in the chat as we're about to wrap up as well. Big up Jonesy.
You, sir.
Oh dear, but yeah, just I think you're onto something there in terms of that. They can't get away with this because of what's happened. Otherwise, Everton will be the ones take the Premier League to court. Jesus Christ!
It'd be an interesting one though. Where would they, if they did get banished out of the Premier League, where would they get relegated to? Because I remember the Rangers, they got relegated to Division 3.
The literal bottom tier of Scottish football. Yeah, they had to work their way up that way. And they couldn't even stay as Rangers as it was. They had to go into administration and come back as a new company. So it's like Rangers PLC, whatever it is nowadays. Stefan had more idea about it in the chat. But
I don't think they should have a 5-year transfer. I think it should be relegated. Like that amount of charges. If you get found guilty for that amount of charges, like you've got to be punished severely.
Yeah. If they get done for every single charge, that's 115, like you say, they've got to be literally relegated to non-league football, administration, so that the owners have got to set up things like that. Things have got to be put in place so that they can't keep the players they've got going down to that level to get themselves. They have to work like Rangers did, work their way back up and rebrand and all that.
I do feel sorry for the fans. Like, don't get me wrong, they've had it good over the last few years, But like,
there you go.
Imagine that was our club. You'd be absolutely fuming, wouldn't you? You would be fuming deep down and worried. Like if it happened to us, you'd be like gutted, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, as a fan, you'd be distraught because everything, especially in the
situation
of City,
basically let down by the people running that club.
Yeah. You've been let down, but everything you've witnessed for the last since 2012, that 2012 league title onwards, is tainted from the get-go.
Innocent until proven guilty.
This all goes back to when they came in. The second they came in, this is how far it goes back. But yeah, like Johnny said, stick him in the Scottish League. That's punishment enough. Send them to Scotland and never return.
Oh, I watched that last Celtic Rangers game. The quality was shocking. Don't get me wrong; it's a good game of football to watch. But Jesus, mate,
I didn't do the live stream for it.
I'm surprised.
Again.
I'm surprised the way football is right that they've never tried to break into our leagues. Even if they started from the bottom.
There was talk, wasn't there, about 15? There was talk about 15, 20 years ago, wasn't there? That they wanted.
Yeah.
There was talk of it. Never materialised since then. Especially what happened with Rangers then afterwards. The quality of that league's just down the toilet.
People said to me, well, they wouldn't do anything, but they would do something because obviously someone like Celtic got 60,000 stadium. Do you know what I mean? Patriotic fans, they would build a decent team, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
they would eventually build a decent. I'm not saying they're going to win Premier Leagues, but they would have a decent Premier League side.
Look at these teams over the years that have never been in Premier League, that have come up to the Premier League with the parachute payments, be it via the playoffs or automatic promotion, and they go down because they have the parachute payment. They go down for one season, they can come back up, and they invest that money they got from the previous parachute payments, but also TV money and all that, and they've suddenly gone from a bang average championship team to a team that's too good for that league that can now come back and compete. Look at what it Burnley under Sean Dyche. When Sean Dyche first came up, he sacked that season off. He went, well, we are what we are. We're here for the experience. And we'll come back. Went down, invested the money, came back, and then spent the next 6-7 years plus as a Premier League club before they went down again. We're seeing it this season of Leicester City because even though they've gone down, they've been able to keep, because of the structure they've had in place, they've been able to keep a good chunk of their players that did go down. Still a couple of players, but keep a chunk and show they're too good. So they've got to that's too good for the league, so they'll come back up no problem.
Yeah.
But what was it, Luton? I mean, I know Luton aren't. I mean, the Luton squad in general is pretty much a championship side as it is. But they would stay up, even though they went down. They could come back. They can invest that money and come back up because it's parachute payments. Because they came up from the playoff final. They came up from what was it? Nottingham Forest. I know that we've mentioned the old situation there in the FFP, but they've come up. The owners invested money. They went from having the championship squad coming up to a team that's can do it. If it had the right infrastructure, could be a mid-table club now with the players they've got. They've got bought some decent players. These young talents like Morgan Gibbs White, he's kicked on. They've got Hudson and Doy. They've just brought in as well. I mean, I think they need to improve their goalkeeper situation.
I tell you what, though,
thank you, Forrest, for that one.
When you look at the Forest situation, last year, he done a bloody good job, Cooper, to keep them up, mate. When you think about the amount of players that they brought into that side, and he had to manage and bring them into the club, because that's not easy to bring 20 odd players into a club, is it? Get them to settle down and play Premier League football and win games. That ain't easy.
Especially when that club. No, especially when that club as well hadn't been at the top flight for 23 years, and the squad that he came up with had no experience whatsoever in this league. It was completely new, well, not just a generation of fans, but the entire squad himself, and he had to rely on his owner to bring certain players in. I think was it Kevion Navas? Even though it was clearly past it, but because of the experience, he did a job. And it's just they brought in, even though they're bang average players in terms of former Tottenham lad. They brought players like him in and things like that. But just to stay up in the first season back with all that, with over 40 odd players or whatever it was, fair play. I mean, you can't take that away from him or the club in general. And I think no matter what happens, unless they get a stupidly insane points deduction, I think they'll be fine because they've got a manager now. I think Nuno Espirito Santo is a good appointment for them. I think with the players they've got, I think he'll ever wonders. He knows Morgan Gibbs White. He's got Callum Hudson and Doy. He can work with Anthony Elanga. He can get a tune out of long term. We saw what he did with Wolves.
Yeah,
and that was on the Portuguese budget, basically, on the Portuguese book, Little Black Book. This is more international, this one is. So I think they'll be fine. And I think they'll start kicking on now. And like you say, going back, obviously, the point more about Rangers and Celtic, it just proves the point of if they were to be in the Premier League and you gave them that money, suddenly the players they used, once upon a time, the players they used to have, once upon a time, the Henrik Larssons, the Petrovs, John Hartsons, Chris Sutton, Gaza, the players of that ilk, they'll be able to attract again. It won't be these bang average League One Championship players that they've got now currently.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like when you think about the 90s, that the players they did have in that league. That's some really good players. Even the start of the 2000s, weren't it? They had like good players in that league. Like, but when you look at it now, it is pretty much Championship standard football, and that's only talking about the top 2 teams. Like you get down the bottom end of the table, you're talking about League 2.
If you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah, League 1 and League 2, if you're lucky. Yeah, it's a. But I think the time passed, didn't it? Like we said, that was like 15 years ago. They were talking about Scottish teams coming in over to the Premier League. Like it would only be the 2 teams anyway, but it would literally be you'd have to mix the whole league up, wouldn't you? You just scrap the Scottish league. But
well, I say
it's Scottish team, it's Scottish league. That's what it is.
You'd have Scottish leagues like you're doing well. So I know we've got like Swansea, Cardiff.
We still got Welsh league, don't we?
There's still a Welsh league, so you still see the Scottish league, and it's just never have no attention on it basically because
the only thing it would do. The only thing good it would do there is it'll make it more competitive for French Scottish teams to go for titles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that ain't going to change.
I was going to avoid this, but Jonesy's just being Jonesy's had to mention that name, and I'm not going to go into it. But have you heard about this with Nuno Tavares?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I'm not going to go into it because I've seen.
Just leave it.
Let's just leave it. It's a bit,
let's just leave that one. Leave it in the kennel.
Literally. You're only beyond that comment. Jesus Christ.
Leave it in the kennel.
Listeners, anyone listening back on this at this point,
I only debate on football.
Do not Google, and I repeat, do not Google Nuno Tavares. Don't. Please don't.
Don't do it, Gary. If you said don't do it.
Gary can do it. Gary, I love it.
Oh, Gary is now. He's got his head in the sink. I know United States ain't losing a game.
Oh dear. They say that when Emma Hayes goes there.
Yes, definitely.
If you start screwing that up. But apart from that, we're going to wrap things up now, though. About 15, nearly 20 minutes after I said I was going to wrap this up, but still. Anyway, thanks again, Liam, for coming on and all that short notice, but appreciate it. I'll let you go and get some sleep and rest and all that, because you are getting back into work, so I don't want to keep up too long. But as I say, thanks, and everyone else in the chat, thank you, be it from Liam's side of things in terms of his Twitter or his YouTube channel, or from my side of things and all that, all the regulars and this, that, and the other that have merged in. Massively do appreciate it, and all the listeners as well. Thank you as well for the listening and all that. We are currently number 5 in the world of Arsenal podcasts, audio-wise. As I say, in the world, in the top 5 currently, as I last looked. So we are going up in an esteemed company, as you would think. But we push on for that number 1 way or the other. I'll get there eventually. In terms of going forward this week, I'm tweeting Wednesday. We're back on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock kickoff. So about 6:45, 20 to 7. We're going to go live. Arsenal versus Reading in the Conti Cup last group game, just to solidify our top spot basically from the group. Against, as I say, against away to Reading, probably will win that comfortably. But we're going to do a live watch along for that. And on Thursday, Ange will be back with her panel on Thursday for the All Arsenal podcast, where we concentrate fully more so on our academy, which had a nightmare at the weekend, by the way. If you know, you know. I'm not going to go into that and spoil anything if you don't know, but we had a bit of a nightmare academy-wise. And yet, the old FA Youth Cup, no final this year, Liam, at all, sadly. And trying to think now. And but mainly we focus on the women on the women's team, and had a good. It's a win. It's a 3 points. First WSL game back. Got the win. That's more important than anything. Keep the pressure on Chelsea. See what happens there. But Chelsea did their thing. But anyway, so to concentrate, they'll be really. Ange and her panel will be going back on Sunday's game, touching on that, but also what happens whatever happens from the Wednesday game as well. So do keep an eye out for that on Thursday, and then I'm trying to think now. No men's football this week because it's again FA Cup weekend so Arsenal are not in the FA Cup this weekend. So I might do a neutral watch long, depending on what games are being picked. I don't even know what games are being picked for the FA Cup weekend, to be honest. I've not paid attention. If I'm being brutally honest there.
No, I'm gonna have a week off.
Sunday, apart from Sunday, I have to do a watch on because it's the WSL, but that's women, but the women's team. But yeah, probably have the weekend, probably have Saturday off or something because it's FA Cup. It's like not in it now, so it's just like until it gets to the final stage, it's like do you want to focus on that now? But so yeah, that's Sunday. So Sunday, I'm trying to think. Sunday is a later kickoff. It's a 4:30 kickoff. I think against Liverpool away. Chance to avenge opening day defeat and get our own back there and see if we can stick it on Liverpool this time round with a more rounded squad compared to what we had an opening weekend. Got Viv back, got Beth back, got Russo started firing all cylinders, Stina, Blackstenius, you name it. But so we got that. And any other news we'll get in the meantime in terms of transfers and all that, we'll keep updated on that. But apart from that, Liam, what have you got coming up on your channel this week?
Yeah, I've got a show on Thursday night, so just a bit of a review again on the game, but I'll be kind of hosting it, so it'll be obviously guest views. And then pretty much, I ain't really got. As you've just said, it's a FA Cup weekend, so we're pretty much off. So I think I'll just kind of enjoy my weekend, if I'm being totally honest. I've got no interest in the FA Cup now.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No interest. Actually, I'd like to see. I want to watch Maidstone. I want to watch Maidstone United and see how they do against the mighty Ipswich. Oh, maybe we might have to stream that, Stefan boy.
Oh. As long as it doesn't clash with the girls on Sunday, I'll have a look at
it. Let's have a look now, right? Let's have a quick look here, right? When that is. Because I'm a big old Maidstone fan that day.
Let's have a quick look just quickly. 1 sec. Oh, bloody hell.
I've got a feeling it's definitely on TV.
Will Stefan be able to confirm if it's on TV or not?
It's 12:30 on Saturday.
Oh, it's got to be on TV then. It's on 12:30. Just which TV companies took them on?
That must be ITV, I would say.
Fuck it, you know what? If you're up for it, I'll do it.
Well,
for the potential upset.
Well, do you know what? Sarah's working Friday night, so she'll be asleep Saturday. See what I can work out. If I can get Bobby asleep, then yeah, I'll be up for it.
Yeah, cool. We'll sort that out near the time. Cool.
It wouldn't shock me. No, it wouldn't shock me.
Chris saying Liverpool best club in the.
Would it shock you that I want Ipswich to win against Maidstone?
You got Richard in the chat says Reading might be off as they had to postpone their match at the weekend due to illness. I'll be so fucking all that will. Jesus Christ.
If you don't beat Maidstone, mate, there's a problem. There will be actually, to be fair, if they do lose to Maidstone, I reckon there'll be a Stefan meltdown.
Look, if that happens, I'll purposely join the up, put a link in the chat for Stefan and get his ass on it.
Long time coming, that one, mate. Long time coming.
Tom's up for it. He says anything for some more coin gathering. Yeah, and hopefully I'll get all the stuff sorted as well. All the sound bites and all that, the Liam screams and shouts and God knows what. Oh dear. apart from that, though, yeah, okay, we'll sort that out near the time in terms of the Saturday one. But yeah, Sunday, girls, we play Liverpool, so we'll cover that. Liam's doing his thing on Thursday. Do go over and check that out as well, and give him a sub as well if you can. Even follow him on fucking hell, Twitter, X, whatever they call it nowadays. What is El Smuggo, isn't it?
Yeah, El Smuggo. Just follow that name there. The smug bastard himself. Yeah. Who's been very unsmug over Christmas. Very unsmug.
You made up from what the pictures I saw. You made up for it.
There was cocktails a lot on Saturday night, mate. Cocktails a lot.
Yeah. I will say that whoever's pouring the pints needs to have a word with themselves and retrain, because there was a lot ahead.
Yeah, there was a lot of head on that. There was a lot of head on that.
Very foamy.
Guinness would have been tried that much head, I'll tell you. Absolute dog. But I could get some cocktail glasses as well, couldn't I? Even if they were plastic. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I know that. Blood. Yeah, Jesus. Where was this as well? Where was this one? You
Good old Coronet.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was that place. Oh.
Because it's been taken over, isn't it? So now they've got music in there. So like they're playing all Arsenal songs in there. It is a bit weird because obviously, if you know, it's always been a Wetherspoon. So it's gone from that to having music. You can hardly hear anyone. You can't talk to anyone because the music's so loud in there.
You know, you'd think they'd turn it off on match days. Jesus.
I heard the other week. They didn't do it this week. They played the old controversial Ashley Cole song in there.
Oh.
I thought that was well controversial.
That was fucking brave. That's all I'm saying.
I thought that was well controversial, especially nowadays.
Yeah. Especially, yes, he does it. We fucking made him, and he does it. You know, he acts like with a scum on the.
I wouldn't even play his song. He ain't even relevant of a song nowadays.
Yeah. But yeah, on that note, we are out of here. I'll see you all soon. That will be up in about half hour, guys. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday. If not, you'll see us on Thursday, either on here or on Liam's channel. As always, take care of yourselves, and as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you guys.